Ramadan Mubarak and welcome to the second edition of Majlis. We are at the beautiful W Muscat. Speaking of beauty, if you are part of Oman, if you've visited Oman or you're a resident of Oman, you know what true beauty is. But to tell us more about it, let's welcome our next guest, Mr. Shabib Al-Maamari. So Shabib, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here with us.
Pleasure.
Let's start with something about yourself. Tell us what drove you to pick the field of tourism and how did Visit Oman take form?
My story with tourism started a while back, but not directly in tourism. Years ago, I used to head an organization called Injaz Oman, which is an NGO, a non-profit organization. And one of the major partners we had was Umran Group.
Okay.
And there I was introduced to tourism. Injaz was all about economical empowerment, specifically for youth. And we used to recruit corporate volunteers to go inside classroom and teach students about their field. One of the biggest contributors back then, talking about 2008, 2009, used to be Umran Group. And I got to meet a lot of people, a lot of professionals in the field of tourism. We interacted also heavily with the Ministry of Tourism back then, now Heritage and Tourism. Fast forward to 2018. I got recruited. I used to work for BP Oman back in beginning of 2018, and at the end of 2018, I joined Oman Aviation Group back then. Mustafa Al-Hanai recruited me in Oman Aviation Group, and I headed sector development and promotion. A lot of the things that we have done in that function was related to tourism, but with a focus of aviation. As you know, Oman Aviation Group had a bit of the air and the airport and the aviation services under it. And there was a lot of initiatives to look at synergy and identify gaps and turn them into opportunities. One of the opportunities that Mustafa and His Excellency Ahmed Fataisi have identified was the digital sphere, but specifically in tourism, and more specifically something that would serve the airline and the aviation. And Mustafa have established national travel operator, what is known as Visit Oman today. In 2018, the strategy was built around certain gaps within the sector with a focus on how can this digitization, digital platform, B2B booking engine serve the overall aviation requirements, specifically Oman Air, being the national carrier. But then the overall also synergy with the tourism, be it the hotels and the entire ecosystem. I used to head that function, and I had few individuals heading the organization, National Travel Operator Visit Oman. We were about to launch Visit Oman as a brand in ITB Berlin 2020. And I was at the airport with my team, landed in Munich. This was a day before ITB Berlin 2020, where Oman was the guest country, the host country. And at the airport, we found out that ITB was cancelled due to COVID. So we turned back, got on the same flight, and went back to Oman. Fast forward, a lot of things happened in COVID. And then we got redeployed as a team to re-establish NTO, National Travel Operator, under Umran Group in April 2021. The leadership under the leadership of Dr. Hashel and the board of Umran saw the value in this organization, decided, you know what, we need this organization. There is a gap within the sector that has to do with digital components. And then they asked me to join that team that got redeployed to Umran. And here we are, 4 years, trying to achieve something that would create value for the sector.
Yeah. Now that you've seen all this in your career, and we have gotten to a very important stage where Visit Oman is changing the way we look at Oman, changing the way we think about travel when it comes to Oman. So having seen all this, having seen the changes that are yet to come based on technological developments, what is Visit Oman doing different compared to, say, another agency back there in different parts of the world?
So we do a lot of things, but I think the closest thing that we do is aggregation. And we work with a lot of suppliers in digitizing their offering, be it a hotel, be it an airline, be it a small and medium enterprise, be it a local entrepreneur with 3 camels. We look at the experience, we look at the product, we look at the activity, we look at the service, and we ask ourselves, can this be digitized and turned into a component that can be uploaded to a booking engine?
Right.
The booking engine that we've developed the past 4 years, a B2B booking engine, available for trade partners. And trade partners are basically the buyers. And you could call it like a one-stop shop where they go into this booking engine, look specifically for experiences, accommodation, transportation, and some other F&B related and activity related services. And then they can curate and build a package, or they can buy a single element. What we've noticed is the technology power lies at the scalability. It brings another dimension, especially for local SMEs. And majority of our suppliers, our partners in Oman, are local SMEs. 80% are SMEs, and we will have well over 150 partners, and that number keeps on growing. Basically, what we're able to do through the technology and through different applications that we've used through different channels, we can take any product, no matter how small it is, as long as it's serving a clear purpose for an end user. We upload it to our booking engine. That booking engine will make it available in source markets, in line with the Ministry of Heritage and Tourism strategy, and also in line with many of the airlines that we work with, mainly Oman Air and Salam Air. And we push that product, that service, as content to other booking engines, to other clients. If you imagine today sitting, let's say, in Bidiyah, and you're a small organization that does service, I come to you and I tell you, I can take your product and scale it up. Today, we're available in 170 countries. It doesn't cost you anything, by the way. We do the business development on your behalf. We do the marketing on your behalf. Even when we exhibit, we talk on your behalf. So you could say we empower local SMEs and local entrepreneurs through digitization and through the power of connections online.
That's great. That's a very great segue to my next question. You mentioned technology, you mentioned innovation that's happening right now. So are you, based on AI, artificial intelligence, how are you upscaling yourself and how are you empowering the local businesses through AI at this current gesture?
So there is a lot of, I would say, components that we look at when we talk specifically about AI, and we look at relevant things to us. And I would split them into two tiers. A tier that has to do with operation inside the organization into your Visit Oman. How can we become more efficient? How can we save on cost? How can we be much faster? We're not a very large organization because it's designed this way. We're agile and we try to control the cost. So we rely heavily on other partners and the latest technology when it comes to operation. So we look at AI, how can it complement what we do and make us more efficient, more faster, more cost effective. That's on one bit. The other bit would see the end user. What's out there from an AI solution application perspective in our travel tech field that we need to be aware of and then test, pilot, and then implement. There are many examples that we see that are very relevant to what we do. Mainly trip planning. So someone who would come on our booking engine, we recently just launched a new version of our booking engine. Trip planning is very important. So the end user is a trade partner. It's a company that look at many destinations and they look at many different booking engines. Why would they come back to our booking engine and look at Oman? The user experience is very important. And AI does wonders when it comes to user experience. So that's one bit that we look at from a user experience trip planning perspective. How can we make it easier? How can we make it smart? How can we make it reliable? A quick example, someone would come to our booking engine that never came to Oman, doesn't know Oman, but they're interested. They're genuinely interested. They want to buy and sell a component of Oman. And they might book a hotel in Muscat and maybe look at an experience in Bidiyah and book it as an activity. The system will be able to recognize that Bidiyah is not close and would advise that individual that if you want to go to Bidiyah, it's advisable you spend the night there because the drive is 2 hours and a half, 3 hours, and then you come back, that's almost 5 to 6 hours. That's not counting the experience itself. So it's not a day trip. So that kind of smart, I would say, application is there through different applications of AI. The other growing element that we're keeping a close eye, there is a very nice complement happening as we speak between e-commerce, social commerce, and AI. and we're waiting for the two solutions to start speaking to each other. And basically, someone who's searching for a destination, a dream place where they want to go, AI would recognize their preferences and can push the right type of content in front of that individual, be it someone who uses Instagram or TikTok. AI will do the research, will profile that individual, and will push the right content. But now here is the new version of pushing content. How can you turn that content into a bookable experience? And this is the name of the game in the next few years. A video or a picture that is clickable. You click it and it takes you to a payment gateway and a booking experience. What we've noticed in terms of trend, people are looking for experiences, they're not looking for destinations. Hence the importance of social media and the element of applications that would serve social media from an AI perspective. We're looking at different solutions. There are local developers that are doing a wonderful job in social commerce. The biggest, I think, being Ion, Oman. They have very interesting AI-related applications, and their core is social commerce. We work with local developers and we work with international also developers. Whatever suits our agenda is a potential partner for Visit Oman.
That's great. There's a lot of insight. But an interesting pivot I would like to do is, I'm sure you know about generative AI.
Yes.
And it's taking shape in different, ChatGPT is there. We have different companies that are doing that. So how are you going to leverage generative AI? Because anyone can go out there and type a prompt and get, say, a fair picture as to what that nature is going to look like, the landscape is going to look like. How are you going to empower the businesses, say content creators, and bring them to a more traditional, more real experience through your platform?
So one of the things that we've been working on that might touch upon what Gen AI are doing is basically creating wealth of partnership with the biggest OTAs, online travel agencies in the world. As we speak, we have 10 partners that we just landed last year. These 10 partners provide us with the power to reach to 110 million users. These are not users of Visit Oman. These are users of our partners' platform. What we do is we create this partnership and then we push our product, our services, our content to platform of choice. And here where it comes Gen AI. So we work with our partners and feed them content that they can use for their own, I would say, marketing and communication services. But we also feed different AI engines on rich content about Oman. So when you search, you get the right, I would say, piece of information. If it's a picture, you get the right picture, you get the right description.
Right.
And then there's always this trick where you have the call to action. This is very important in our field because every single advertisement is worth what conversion it brings to you. And a quick example, you might have the biggest picture in the world placed in the busiest road in the world. It's a very good, I would say, awareness, but then it's not clickable. And then you can't follow how many people actually read the message and did something about it versus digital. When you go digital, you have this power of call to action where it's a clickable, I would say, link.
Yeah.
And it takes them to the landing page that you can turn later on into something that brings you tourists into the country. So two components. We are feeding different engines, information about Oman and why come to Oman, and different, I would say, content that helps the user journey. But also we work with different global partners where we were giving them different information about the country and about the destination, about the product, descriptive, and pictures and videos. And then they'll get to use it on their own engine and link it with their own AI agent.
Right. So now that you mentioned about all the technology that goes behind your service, now let's look at Oman. Let's look at Oman as this destination that many people are very interested to come and explore, not just from a financial perspective, but like we said, tourism and travel and experiences. So tell us something unique, some unique examples or travel experiences that you think distinguish Oman from, say, another country?
When we talk about certain destinations within Oman, I'll have to say the possibilities and options are endless. But one thing that strikes even myself and a lot of people is the proximity of the diverse experiences that you can go through in Oman in one day.
Right.
And I'll give you an example. If you go to Daymaniyat today, it'll take you a boat ride of half an hour from Asib area to Daymaniyat. And to me, that's a standout destination on its own, a standalone destination, Daymaniyat. You could do scuba, you could do a bit of camping. But then if you want to do a quick experience where you look at turtles and you pet a whale shark, you can do that. And then half an hour, you're back in sea. If you take a car and you drive for another hour, you're hitting the dunes in Al Batana South. And you could do dune bashing. And we're still in the first half of the day. So you go from the middle of the ocean to the beach to the dunes. And then from the dunes, another hour through Arostaq, you go to Jabal Shams. And the temperature difference is between 15 to 20 degrees. If it's January, it's almost sub-zero. So you could do ocean, beach, desert, mountain on the same day. And it's all connected through a fantastic road network. A lot of people don't know Oman, from a road connectivity and road quality perspective, is one of the best 10 countries in the world. Regionally, we're head to head with one of the neighbors as number one. This brings wealth of opportunities and option for tourists. But then let's leave that as an option one, the proximity and the diversity. You have Jabal Lakhar, where in the midsummer it's 25, 26 degree. You could spend the night in a village that is 400-year-old. The family that will take care of you is the same family that lived, the same tribe that lived for 400 years old. They will cook for you. They will cater for you. And that experience is out of this world, and the temperature is perfect during summer. If you go to the empty quarter, Rub' al-Khali, that place to me is out of this world. Stargazing is something that you would experience and appreciate through a local tour guide. They will look at the constellation and explain to you what are you looking at, how old sailors used to sail, how can you use it today if you're ever lost, or if you are looking at the star and you identify stars, how to find different direction. So we have the mountain, we have the desert, and then 3,000 kilometers of pristine beaches, different terrain, and then you go to Salalah or to Dhafar. Not a lot of people know that we have jungles in Dhafar, endangered species that can be watched with the naked eye. All of these, different options, the biodiversity that we have within the ocean, bird watching, that's a segment we're looking at, parasailing, gliding through the ocean. These are niches that we're looking at to distinguish Oman from other destinations. And we're creating these right opportunities for the right, I would say, operators to come witness and then market and sell Oman.
What's your go-to spot in Oman?
I would say I can't say no to Jabal Al-Akhdar at any moment. Even though I enjoy the ocean, I love sailing. But at the same time, Jabal Al-Akhdar, I would say, is a unique place because of the terrain. And I love the fact that when you drive there, and the beauty of also Jabal Al-Akhdar, if you land in Muscat airport, 2 hours, you're in your room in Jabal Al-Akhdar. And you have wonderful global resorts there. But when you drive and you reach the mountain, it's only a 20 drive up, and then the change of temperature is mind-boggling in my opinion, where it's 30 plus degrees, and then it's 20 degrees within 20 minutes. The terrain, the history, the people, the food, the agriculture is so unique to the region. It's the highest peak in the region. Not a lot of people know. The highest restaurant in the region, even higher than our neighbor, is the restaurant at the top of Indigo Hotel. If you look at it from a mountain and then a hotel on top of a mountain, that's the highest man-made, I would say, unit in GCC countries.
Right. Now that we spoke about tourism, it's growing. But how do you? What's your perspective on Oman, and how is Oman balancing the tourism growth, whereas keeping the environmental sustainability at check?
So, well, not a lot of people know that Oman, one of the first countries, if not the first country in the region, maybe one of the first countries globally to have a governmental unit that looks at the environment. Used to be the Ministry of Environment, now it's the authority since the 70s. It just tells you how important preserving the environment is for the government. But then when you look at the policies, I would say how protective we are. Not a lot of people also know that we have stargazing reserves. You're not allowed to build anything there. It's reserved for people who are interested in looking at the star, and there are many experiences that are built around it. So I would say we can definitely look at the hotel as a catalyst when it comes to an investment, specifically driven by the government, Ministry of Heritage and Tourism, and more of an example about Umran. The example I love always to use that Umran have done a wonderful job in is the Crown Plaza Duqm, where it was the first building there. And a lot of people asked, why would you build something there? Still, the Duqm area was fairly new back then. We knew that a lot of things are coming. But Umran had always been adamant about creating value through this catalyst model when it comes to a hotel. Because we know for a fact that the moment you do that, then the value chain gets activated. By value chain, you could talk about tour operators, local tourists, taxi drivers, little restaurants, and any individual who is willing to present an activity. Because the moment you build it, then you start creating the demand. Imagine if they didn't build that. Someone needs to take that risk, and this strategy was always there at the Ministry of Heritage and Tourism, and specifically through Umran. That happened. They immediately also, before the first minute, they decide, they connect with the local community, ask the right question, speak about all the opportunities that this hotel or this operation will bring to them, what sort of value it would create for the family, for their children, and for the youth that are about to graduate. Absolutely. What sort of specific things that they need to focus on. Another beautiful example that they've done wonderfully is the buying local, the local content, the ICV itself. So it's not only employment, but looking also at the other components in the value chain, and looking at vegetables, fruits, fisheries, dairy, meats, anything that is consumable that the hotel requires is something that Umran would look at and start developing locally communities, identify the right partner, train if that is required, and then create this value chain and ecosystem between the hotel operator and the local community.
Right. So talking about risk-taking and leadership, what is the most valuable lesson that you have learned in regards to risk-taking and leadership in your career so far?
So specifically, if we talk about tourism, tourism is a very interesting ecosystem. And I say ecosystem because if it's not all activated, you can't work alone. A hotel requires all the other components in the ecosystem. Part of the ecosystem also kind of goes into aviation. And look at destinations that are very successful. You'll find a very healthy ecosystem, a very healthy airline, a very healthy airport operation, fantastic operations when it comes to hospitality and accommodation, and then rigorous and agile policies to support that ecosystem. And the example that we always use to ask the question, where do we fit Visit Oman in this ecosystem, relies on how collaborative we are with all the components of the ecosystem, because we sit kind of in the middle when it comes to the digital component, where we're linking all these wonderful operators, fantastic services, phenomenal, I would say, experiences, digitizing them, bringing them at the tip of your finger on a beautiful state-of-the-art booking engine. If that ecosystem wasn't healthy, I'll have a very, I would say, nice looking very expensive booking engine. But the entire, I would say, feasibility relies on how healthy is the ecosystem. We have a fantastic ecosystem in Oman that is getting bigger by the day. A lot of interesting operators there with phenomenal experiences. Our role from a leadership perspective is to identify the right kind of partnership and work hard when it comes to quality, because that matters also.
Splendid. Thank you so much for spending
My
the time
pleasure.
and sharing this insights with us. I'm sure the viewers out there will be more interested to visit Oman. So Ramadan Mubarak as well to
Thank
you.
you.
May you have a blessed month. And to all our viewers watching, for more content on Majlis, keep following TAS.